Welcome, everyone, to the Authentic as Fuck podcast. My name is Sun. I am a marketing and storytelling coach. In this podcast, we talk to real entrepreneurs, real personal brands, real creators to kind of help them coach them through storytelling, marketing, personal branding, and things like that. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on the first guest, Ruda. Hi, Ruda.
Hey, hi.
How are you?
Hey,
So, yeah,
good, good.
let's start with the intro. So, tell us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Welcome to my kitchen. um, I'm a therapist. I'm a psychotherapist. I live in Lithuania. I practice here and I practice online a lot, even before the pandemic. And recently, I joined in the community like 2 months ago, I think. And I'm starting to build my kind of online presence. And I'm kind of taking two paths, trying to build a personal brand, probably, and trying to create and sell and promote a product that I'm developing. So
Okay.
I have many questions.
Okay. Let's go right into it. Question number one.
Okay, so question number one, the one that I registered with, was about my web design. So I'm kind of a one-man band, one-woman band. I do everything on my own, and I've built this website for me. And a funny story is that when I built my website, I was looking into Mel Robbins and Gabby Bernstein's websites for
Mhm.
inspiration, and then I found out that they're your clients.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I
So,
don't know if I did a good job. So maybe you can take a look
do
and
you want
let
me to
me
take a
know.
look at it now? Yeah.
Yeah, can we?
Yeah, okay. So, what's the can you put it in the chat first? What's
Yeah,
the name?
sure. Yep. Okay, it's in the chat.
Okay, let's take a look. So, for
And
people that are
please be
listening,
gentle. Please be the nurturing type, okay? But
I'll try my best. For those that are listening, the website is Ruka. Uh, how do you spell your last name?
okay,
How do you pronounce?
Kavaliauskienė. It's Kavaliauskienė. So it's RUTAKAVALIAUSKIENE.LT. Oh goodness.
Okay, I think that's the first thing you need to change
You
because
don't like my name?
I mean I like your name, but I don't like your web domain name because
Okay.
it's every time you have to tell somebody, you have to do you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So okay, let's see. I've never shared screen before, so let's see how I can do that. Um, oh, there we go. Do you
Okay.
see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's not in English.
No, but I can translate. Like it's not a lot of text, so I
Okay.
think, yeah. Can we try to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the
Well,
menu,
I'm
I
gonna
have.
quickly go through it first, and
Yeah,
then
sure. Just
because I want to get the first impression.
okay.
And how did you make the website? What did you use
Made
to
it
make the
on
website?
Wix. This time on
Wix. Okay,
Wix. I
got
changed
it.
platforms 3 times, and now I'm on Wix.
Okay, so you want to kind of talk me through it?
Okay. So there's home, shop, about, free resources on the menu. And then I
Hmm.
have a button for a particular product. So I created this website for my product, which is psychotherapeutic meditations. So
Okay,
kind of audio meditations. So there's this button with the arrows. It says psychotherapeutic meditations, and it takes you to my shop
got
where
it.
you can
So
find
these are your
like,
products. When you
yeah.
say
So
products, you mean the meditation.
yeah.
Okay,
So these are kind of
got
downloadable
it.
files.
Awesome.
Yeah. Then this is my upcoming event, which I don't know if it's supposed to be here because I feel like this website is for the product and for my personal brand, and it's a bit
Hmm.
all over the place. But
Okay.
it's what it is now.
And these
Okay.
are your products again.
Yeah, these are my products. It says it's based on like contemporary neurology and psychotherapy. These are testimonials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Testimonials, and I think I saw more testimonials here. What does it say?
This is benefits of meditation. It
Hmm.
says it changes your brain, heals your body, and helps you become your own best friend. And a bit of, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about website, or do you want to talk about um messaging?
Hmm.
Okay,
I
what was your
think,
second question, first of all? So I can kind of pace it correctly.
mm, of course, messaging and copy. I think it's very
Okay.
important. And then I understand that website design is one thing, but what I'm learning from you is that the structure and the CEO and all of the, I don't know, back end stuff or
Mm.
whatever the word is probably more important or as important. Um, so maybe you
No, no, none
can.
of those things are as important as okay. Let me draw a clear picture for you guys first.
Okay.
The I think all of that, everything technical, right? Website, the copy, the SEO, everything. Even having on a website, all of that is 20%. Okay. So for example, if Mel Robbins and Gabby Bernstein did not have a website at all, they would only be losing 20%. Like it wouldn't affect their business 80% of the time. Do you get it? Do you
Yeah.
understand what I mean? So even if you do everything perfectly, that's only still 20%. 80% is your brand, your messaging, your audience, your community. That's 80%. If you do this part right, you don't even need a website.
Let's
Do you
talk
understand what I
about
mean?
the other stuff then.
So let's set that first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to give you a picture, right? One of the things that I always talk about is like marketing is just no matter how you want to put it, you can talk about all the funnels, all the different thing, nurturing and all of that. It basically comes down to three steps. One, attention. Two, nurture. And then three, convert. Meaning somebody has to first find you. Like somebody who doesn't know who you are first need to learn about you and find you. That's the attention. Okay. And then once they find you, that's like, oh, okay, this person's cool. Then they have to be nurtured over time so that you can earn their trust and they're like, oh yeah, I trust this person. I like what this person is saying. And then you can convert them to a product. Do you understand what I mean? So for
Yeah.
example, the reason why you're going to be able to sell your meditation is not because you know the product or the messaging or whatever it is in the meditation. It's because of you. They like you. So it doesn't at that point you don't even need a website. You can just send out an email, you can just post on Instagram. You're like, hey guys, just go pay and download this like you can literally put it up on Instagram and then say, oh,
That's
pay and
what I'm
download,
doing
and they'll
now.
buy it.
And it's
Yeah.
kind of working. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I just want you to know that don't lose track of that. The
Yeah.
reason why it's working is because you've been doing this. You've been nurturing your
Mm.
audience. You know what I mean? So don't lose track of that. That is everything. And then now let's talk about the website. Okay. Now, when it comes to the website, what you want to do is okay. Before even we get to the website, I want you to understand this because I think you're separating your personal brand from your products, but it's not true at all. Like your personal brand, your products, your one-on-one like kind of therapy business, everything, all of that, it's all part of the same brand, which is you. Okay, okay. So don't
Yeah.
separate any of these things. Okay. And the goal of your website is not to sell your product. That's part of it.
Mhm.
Obviously, that is like a conversion thing, but it's not the only goal of your website. Okay. Um So now let's go back to the website. The goal of your website is two things. So that you have a place to sell products, because you need a place where people can check out and stuff like that. So you need that. And then if you want them to book your coaching, there's like this one place where they can do all of those things, right? So that's one thing, so that they can actually check out, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing is for people who don't really know about you, to learn more about you. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so there's going to be 2 points when the website is important: when they first find about you, and then when they're buying something. Everything that happens in between is happening like through your nurturing emails, social media, things like that. It's
Okay.
happening outside of the website. Okay. And you know this from you must know this as a user. Like, it's not like you go back to somebody's website every week, right?
No.
That doesn't happen. You go to the website when you first learn about someone. It's like, oh, I want to know more about this brand, right? And then when you're ready to let's say you keep seeing them on social media and stuff like that, and eventually you're like, oh, I like that product, I want to buy it. Then you go to their website to buy it. Like, those are the 2 times when the website is important, right? So let's only worry about those 2. So which basically comes down to means you should only worry about 2 things on your website: the about page, which is all about you, and then the sales
About me,
page,
not the product. Sorry.
and then the sales page. The sales page is what I call the page where you sell your product. So, for example, the page where you want people to book your call, book a one-on-one call, or the page where you want them to buy the meditation. Like, that's your sales page. Okay. And this is pretty much every website that I've ever worked on. These 2 pages are the core. This is where you should be spending 80% of your time. Okay. And specifically in writing the copy for those pages. Okay. So what I mean by that is, in your about page, you need to write a story. That's kind of like what we teach, right? Like your hero's journey story. And it has to be personal enough that, the whole goal about page is to show them why you're doing this, right? And like what I said was, ultimately everybody runs a business because business is supposed to drive traffic. It's supposed to make money, right? Like, nobody would be doing it if there was no, like, if you weren't getting paid to do it, right? But then that doesn't mean we're just going to do anything for money. So there's a line that we draw, right? We say, okay, yes, I'm willing to do a lot of things for money, but I'm not willing to do this. Okay. And so that's the story you need to tell, like why you're doing this and how you're doing it. And because I believe that I need to do it this way, I'm willing to do this even if I actually lose money doing it. Do you understand? What I mean?
Yeah, you talked about it before. Yeah.
So you need to find out that thing. Like, what is the thing that you're most
Yeah.
convicted about, that you believe is so wrong in your industry, let's say, that it needs to be done this way, and I will not sacrifice that. Right? So that's number one. That's what the about pages should do. It should tell your story so that people are like, oh yeah, I believe what she's saying, and I believe that she really means it. Like, she really doesn't care about money. She really cares about this thing more than money, right? What your sales pages do is, it's not about you at all. Now the sales page is all about the customer, right? So you need to start. So sales page is always like, there's this gap between what you're selling and what they need, what they think they need. So to give you an example, by the way, I'm going to go deeper into what you do, so don't worry. But for example, let's say you're a fitness trainer. Like, what a lot of fitness trainer tries to do is, oh, you need a healthy lifestyle, and blah, 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 and all of these things that are important to what they think the client needs, right? But the client doesn't care. The client just wants one thing, is to lose 30 pounds. That's all they care about, right? So the gap has to be closed somehow. So somehow you need to make the client who wants who wants the candy and see the value on why you need to eat the broccoli, right? So
Yeah.
that teaching has to, that education has to be done, and that's what's being done on the sales page.
Okay.
Got it? So what
Yeah.
the sales page needs to do is right on the top. First thing is to do is like, is this what you're dealing with? Is this what you're suffering with? Is this what your problem is? Right. So to give you an example, I know I work with a lot of people that teaches mindfulness and meditation. So if you are selling meditation, right, there's a few different ways you can do this, right? And depending on your audience is different. So let's say your audience are people that are not really meditating, right? Then the one you need to sell them on is the benefits of meditation, right? Not like this type of meditation. Do you understand what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
they're not even thinking about it. So the messaging is going to be completely different than if you were targeting somebody who is already meditating, but they're doing it wrong, or maybe the way you're doing it is different than, like, for example, they downloaded that Calm. Okay, meditation is important, so I went down to App Store, I downloaded Calm, and I use it every night to listen to do meditation, right? Let's say that's what they're doing. Then what you need to do is you need to sell them on what's the difference between this and this, right? So the messaging is going to be completely different depending on your audience. Got it?
Yeah.
So a good example would be, hey, like, do you know, like, here's how I would do it, right? The story that I would tell is like, hey, are you constantly 24/7 feel like you're being chased? Like you're being chased with time. Like no matter what you do, there's always more things to do. And every day you go to sleep, you're like, oh, there's so much to do. Tomorrow you wake up and you're being chased, and then you go to sleep, and the same thing happening over and over. You just feel like you just need a rest. You need a break. You need to go on vacation. Blah blah blah. And like you go on vacation, you come back and back into the right. Well, that's because like we now live in this society where, just think about it, before phones, before internet, before telephone, there was a time when we actually used to sit on the porch and do nothing and just talk or whatever. It's like really connect to the nature, connect to ourselves. All of that is gone out the window now, because as soon as we have time to do that, we're like, boom, right?
Yeah.
And we don't understand how much this is damaging us, how much this is making us feel like anxious. All of those. Like I'm just talking all of this shit out of my ass, okay? But what I'm trying to get is like when you explain the story like that a layman can understand, then you get to the, oh shit, like I understand meditation is important, blah blah blah, right? But then let's say you're selling to this person, right? Then you need a different story. You're like, oh, are you doing the calm thing, blah blah blah. So now let's get into you. So do you
Okay.
understand why that's important? So
Yeah.
what before you do the website and all of that, you first need to figure out those two messaging. One, why am I doing this? Right? Like outside of money. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
what do I feel compelled about? And then secondly, how your product solves your audience's problem. Like first of all, and what do they think it is? Not what you think it is, like what they think it is, right? So
Like
something
what
like
they
that.
think their problem is or the product is.
Like for example, you might think it's like, oh, your problem is that you're not being mindful, you're constantly, you're not meditating, and you don't have time to kind of look inwards or whatever it is, right? But that person is not thinking that. His problem is that to that person, I'm like, oh, I just wish I had more time. That's the I just wish I wish there was 36 hours in a day. That's his problem, right? So you see how the problem is very
Yeah.
far from where you are. But
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
reality, the way he can get more time is not by having 36 hours in a day. It's actually by meditating, right? So he can look inwards and figure out what is everything that I'm doing, and what are those things, what out of those things, what are the things that are unnecessary. So I can, but you need to be centered and be at that place to understand which ones are priority and which ones are not, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean by like
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
want is different than what you're
Yeah.
selling them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So somehow you have to
So
bridge that gap. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you. So let's go into it.
Yeah.
Number one, how do you do um your work Okay, let's talk about both. How do you do your therapy or your when you meet patients or clients? How do you do it differently than other people that you know? Like, what do you think is unique about the way you do it and your meditation? Like,
Yeah.
what do you think is unique about your meditation?
So we had our group meeting yesterday, and we were talking about our weaknesses and strengths. And before on Monday masterclass, I think you said that our niche is not what we do, but how we do it, and it
Mhm.
made a lot of sense. We had a little joke that you're our guru, and we should have your picture on an altar with a little light. It's a bit of a fangirl out there meeting. So,
No,
and I
please
think
don't.
now we will do it, and we'll send you stories. Okay, so I think my niche is that I'm a psychotherapist, but I'm a very anxious person myself. I have solved a lot of that through therapy, but my autonomic nervous system is very active and still anxious, and I'm constantly just working on it. And I think it helps me connect with my clients very well, because when I work with clients who have anxiety problems, I can really feel what they're
Relate
feeling
to
and
them.
really understand and relate. And then all of the things that I'm selling, or I don't know, giving for free or whatever, I tried on myself. And these past 2 years were a bit difficult for me after I had my son. And I found this new therapy, which helped me a lot. There's a lot of meditation in that therapy, and there are particular steps to deal with particular problems. For example, with your inner critic or your imposter syndrome, like things that can could be tied to clients' problems, I think,
Mhm.
better.
Mm.
And so I wanted to come up with a product so that I would have something to sell, because there's a lot of clients who want to work with me one on one, and I'm very grateful that I have a big waiting list. But when people ask to work for me, I'm constantly saying no, because I just can't work with everybody. I wish, and I just wanted to have something to kind of offer them if they want to buy, if they really think they want to work with me,
Mhm.
and just kind of have a product to put out
Got it.
there.
Thank you for like what you just said to me. It clarify everything for me. So, like, I
Good.
think it's clear that like where you're coming from, right? Like, you know, like anxiety is the thing that you deal with that that you think your clients are relating to also because they happen to deal with anxiety too. And for people who don't have anxiety, right? They're like, I mean, I'm not a very anxious person, but I'm not like a not anxious person. I think I'm kind of in the middle. But
Mm,
like people don't understand, right? Like people who don't deal with anxiety really don't know what that feels like, right? Like what it feels like to be there. So I think your homework is going to be to either find an analogy or story or something like that that's going to make the reader understand, like, oh yeah, like she's getting me. she
mm-hmm.
she's understanding me in a deep level that these other people who don't deal with anxiety, these other therapists who don't deal with anxiety really themselves don't understand. Do you understand what I mean? And
Yeah.
and and that's almost a superpower when you're like in the inner circle where like the other people don't understand this, only we understand it. It's kind of a superpower, I think. Um like one,
And sorry,
yeah.
yeah. And I feel it on Instagram. When I started, like before I joined the community, I did more of a educational, like reels and stuff. And when I started to do stories, not sob stories, but stories where I was like knee deep in like shit or like anxiety. And then I solved it and I learned a lot. And then I changed, became this new person, and I learned the lesson. And when I shared those stories, I see that people interact more and I get more
Yeah,
followers, and it's really working.
exactly. You're because you're talking about the before. You're talking
Yeah.
about what you used to be like, right? So lean into that in your about story. Like come up with scenario stories and things like that, only that you and your patients would understand.
Okay.
And people that don't deal with anxiety might not necessarily understand. And a lot of times it's crazy how when you hit that right target audience with the right message, it's so weird because I would show a website to like all my friends and they're like, oh, it's nice, whatever. Right. And then my client's target audience sees it and they're like, this website was life changing for me. Like, so like making the website, writing the website for the target audience and ignoring everyone else is so important. Okay. Now, for your product, now it's so clear too that you went through this therapy where it was kind of mixed with meditation. I don't know if that's like do a lot of therapists recommend meditate, like do
Like it
meditation?
depends on the branch of meditation, but this particular one is getting more popular in the world, and it has a lot of like meditation. Like
Okay.
it's like guided discovery meditation. Yeah.
So for you, what I would do is the people who buy your meditation, I'm assuming are people who already know you, right? So they know what you're about, what you're teaching, and stuff like that. So I wouldn't sell it like, okay, hey, this is why you need to meditate. No, I wouldn't do that. If you want to talk about why you need to meditate, do that in your content. Do that in your TikTok, Instagram, so that people who don't meditate can see it and then find about you. But once, and then nurture them through there. But once they come to your sales page, they know what you're about. They know that you're selling meditation, blah, 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 right? So what you need to do is you need to focus on the difference of like why this meditation is, why you decided to use it, and how it helped you with your anxiety
Myself.
problem.
Okay.
Yeah. And then why you think it's different, and then that's why you decided to sell it, right? Because a lot of people are asking for this. Now, here comes this is gonna be the biggest golden nugget of this half an hour. Okay. I want to ask you, um, why are you selling pre-recorded meditation? Would you be open to doing group sessions?
Yeah, I think in the future I am because I've joined. I don't know if
Okay.
you've heard about Tara Brock and Jack Cornfield. I've joined their. Yeah, they're pretty big in meditation.
Okay.
Whatever. If you're
I'm
not
not really like
knowing,
a big meditation in the meditation world, so
yeah, like the people nobody knows about, but a small group knows
yeah,
about them.
it's like really really popular within the
Yeah,
niche.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm joining their program of
Mhm.
becoming a meditation teacher, and I'm gonna do group thing.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you tell me what you wanted to
Here's what
say.
I here's what I'm thinking. I'm not really into meditation, but I know there's a huge difference for me when I'm doing a meditation, even on Zoom live with the guided meditation, versus me just listening to it through a downloaded recorded. Like it's a night and day difference for me, and almost everybody that I talk to, it's kind of like a night and day difference between when you're meditating at home by yourself versus when you're at a retreat and you're meditating in a room, right? with the there's some sort of an energy that's there. So I actually personally think because these people are what they really want is not the meditation. What they want is you. Do you understand what I mean? So I actually think the better product for you, rather than a pre-recorded meditation, would be to have a membership like what I have, where people join, and then every week you go, you go on a Zoom room and you do live meditation sessions, or you do like quick sharing sessions, or whatever sessions that you do, group sessions there, like on a weekly, like Sundays, like what we do with Sunday service, kind of like that. And then maybe to take the meditation recording from there, and then every morning send them an email with the meditation, right? So that that's almost like a reminder for them to, hey, like you can use this recording for your meditation. I actually think people use that more and they'll see a lot more benefit, and I think they'll be much more willing to buy that than just the
Like
pre-record.
some parts of me are like, Yeah, this makes total sense. And thank you for that. And my anxious parts are like, son, I was trying to hide between audio files and pre recorded workshops.
Uh, well,
But I think, yeah,
yeah.
it's a sign or whatever. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, no, I think your audience will super appreciate that. I'm sure like once you if you do that, like people will be like, "Oh, I really, really wanted something like this." And yeah, I mean they've definitely considered that. It might, you know.
I will definitely try it out, like a kind of a group program or something. Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Or even like a membership kind of. So my client Jay Shetty does this. He has a membership called Jay Shetty Genius, which is $39 a month, and every week he does he goes on and does live meditation, and then there's all these pre-recorded meditation that you can listen to also. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But it's a membership, it's an ongoing membership, so this would be a good product. Like for example, let's say you had a kind of session with one-on-one session with the client and you're done, right? Like for how many weeks or whatever, and they're like, oh, what's next? And be like, oh, why don't you join this thing, so you can keep the momentum going or whatever, right? Or somebody's like, oh, I can't afford to hire you yet, we're like one-on-one, then you put them in
Mm.
this thing. It's kind of like an ongoing, it's like a gym
Yeah.
versus like a boot camp, like a hardcore boot camp versus like an ongoing gym. Like yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that requires commitment. I really need to work on my parts that
Yeah,
are
but
afraid to commit.
I'll tell you this. The level of commitment it requires is is so little compared to the level of commitment that's required to build a successful business.
Okay.
So I'll say that, right? Like, it's yes, there's a commitment required, but you should be willing to put in that commitment if you are serious about you know about the
Mm,
business. Yeah, that's what I'll
okay.
say.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. But I
Yeah,
think that's
it
what I
really is.
needed to hear.
Yeah, because making a business successful is so hard. Because like 99 out of 100 people who try it fail. So if you want to be that one, you need a lot more commitment than just showing up once a week. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
showing up once a week for your audience should be the minimum of your worries in terms of commitment.
Mm. Okay. Can I ask you one like technical question if
Yes,
we have time? So tried to be I've tried posting on Instagram every day for like 100 days, and I think I'm on month 2 now. So I had a decent amount of posts,
you should
and I
be.
gained some followers.
Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
But I feel like I'm on a standstill. And I decided that my Instagram is broken, but probably not. And I just wanted to ask you because
What do you post?
I post one reel, one carousel because from you I saw that
Okay.
carousels also
And
work.
you've been posting every day for
Yeah.
60 days? Okay.
Yeah, and I have a bit of an insight. Like the number for 30 days accounts reached is like 59K, and per month I got like new 500 new followers. I don't know if that tells you something.
And is it ramping up? I would say just keep going. Don't stop. Keep going the rest of the 30 days and see if the number exponentially grows or it just stays still.
It's
Like,
kind of like this.
yeah, but once you do it long enough, I think it's easier to see
Okay.
the graph.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep doing it. And then let me ask you this. From posting every day for 60 days, what have you learned so far?
You're the teacher.
What have you
um,
learned so far about content, making content?
mm, like you really need to work on it and make it relatable, make it easy to digest, um, make it easy to
When
understand
you
and
look at your
relate.
first post, since the day one you started versus now? Do you see a different, like when you look at your
Yeah,
first post, are you like, oh, if I were to do that again now, I would do it like this?
I think I'm doing them better. I hope. I think they're more relatable.
Okay. Keep going
Posts.
because there's no way that you're not going to get better at it. So keep going. Are you posting on TikTok?
I in our group we created everybody created accounts,
Mhm.
and we're trying to post, but not too much. Should I be
Take
doing
every
that?
video that you post on Instagram and
Put
post
it
them on
on
TikTok.
TikTok. Okay.
Yeah, like one a day, every day.
Okay. And
I,
I
I like.
will light my candle with for your picture and bring offerings to the altar. Maybe that will help as
Maybe
well.
that'll work. I don't think so, but
And Gigi as well. I'll have a little
yeah,
pic
well,
of
that might
Gigi.
work. Cool. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely
Right.
try that. Well, keep me updated. Thank you today for coming on and
Thank you very much.
being
Thank
open
you
and
for your
honest with
work.
us. Oh,
Thanks.
you're very welcome. Bye. Okay, next we're gonna bring on Mai. Hey, Mai, how are you? You're, I think, on mute. Can you unmute? Uh,
Oh, there it is.
there we go.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hey.
I was
So yeah,
just saying,
let's get.
I set
Yeah,
up,
go
my
ahead.
head looks so big compared to yours.
It's fine. It's always gonna be like that. Yeah. So tell us your name, where you're from, and what you do.
Yes. First off, I'm Mywin, and I do quite a few things, but currently I operate and run a short-term rental, so short-term rental for properties. I run a company with my husband, and it's been picking up quite a bit. So now I'm also doing a bit of consulting and coaching some independent homeowners who want to do it themselves as well. But a lot of it is we're managing for other people. And a couple of months back, I recently also became a certified life coach as well. So I have some
Mhm.
questions to you about all of
Yeah.
those things.
Okay. Okay. So when you say the property management, like you're talking about like Airbnb, right? Like
Yes, that's
short term
correct.
rentals. Yeah.
Mainly Airbnb. There's other
Mhm.
platforms, but yes, mainly Airbnb.
Yeah. So you help or homeowners that have an empty house or something like that come to you, and then you help them list it on
That's correct.
Airbnb or those sites, and
Yes,
then you take a cut of that, and then
that's
you
correct.
also teach people how to do it themselves.
Yeah, I'm starting to, but it's very like one on one.
Okay, got it.
So yeah,
And then you also got your life coaching certificate, so you want to do that as well.
yeah,
Okay.
basically, yes.
Okay. So what's your question?
Before I have asked my question, honestly, I was watching you and Ruda earlier,
Mhm.
and I just want to say thank you for all of your answers because I have similar questions as well too, and basically you answered those questions by just listening.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, for my website, yes, that's what it's gonna do. It's like so
Awesome.
many nuggets out there, and so I'm like, okay, that answered a lot of questions. I'll have other questions.
Okay. Then I
So
guess you can ask the other questions.
yes. For me, like, so for the longest time, I feel like I guess part of my passion and when I decide to hire a life coach has made a huge difference in my life, and that's why I decided to go that realm.
Mhm.
Even though I kind of judged that industry long ago, I want to build that business, but at the same time, the current business that I have, which is the property management business, is growing very quickly. But then there's that aspect of me that likes educating, that likes teaching or speaking, that I want to be able to integrate.
Mhm.
And I know, I was privileged enough to have a quick chat with you one time already where, you were advising, but now I'm like, should I focus on one first and then the other? Because right now, let's say I have a website, I'm envisioning I can build a website for life coaching. I actually don't have a
Well, let me
website.
ask you a question first.
Yeah.
Before you said that you used to kind of judge life coaches, and then until you got coaching on your own,
Yes.
what made you? Can you tell me that story? Like, what made you hire a coach? What were you struggling with, and what happened afterwards?
Okay. So once again, I feel like all my life I kind of been very involved in many different projects. So a lot of, you can say a serial entrepreneur, but at one point I wasn't sure which business I want to double down into and what path I wanted to take. And at that time, I find, because I'm so focused, but I'm all over the place. And so because of that, I felt like I needed a coach, and I needed someone who outside of my realm. And so when I start working with, and so I said, you know what? I know a lot of people who've been successful have some type of a coach, right? So I
Mhm.
said, why not? Like, what does it hurt if it doesn't
What
do
can you name
anything?
one in particular? One
Sorry.
Can you name one person in particular that's successful that you knew had a life coach or had a coach?
Oh, that I know, I don't know personally, but I read about, right?
Yeah, like who? Like one. Yeah.
Yeah. For example, like, Jay Shetty or Mel
Okay.
Robbins
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Okay.
all of
Got
these
it.
other people you work with.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I even follow like Anthony Robbins in that personal development and all of that, and they've
Okay.
always worked with
Got it.
coaches as well.
Yeah.
So
Got
for
it.
me, that's where I had that. So I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me try to hire a coach. I also, and so when I did hire a coach, the funny thing is the coach actually would allow me to see other aspects of my life. And I was having trouble in my own relationships, which we talked about as well. And that kind of infused into my business and other things. And since that gave me so much clarity and being able to set boundaries and having someone
Oh,
that
so
was
you
accountable.
so you originally hired a coach for your business. Like
Yeah.
you wanted to get clarity on your. So did you hire a business coach or a life coach?
No, I hire a life coach, like a
Okay.
transformational coach. Yeah.
Okay. So somehow you knew that it was related to your life.
Yeah. But I don't know where, right?
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So through a lot of digging, we
Hmm.
realized that everything is interrelated, and so
Hmm.
I started working on my
Hmm.
relationship. That improved. It then improved other aspects of my life, and then
Hmm.
the life coach also helped me kind of like focus on my revenue goal, on my business goal, and by the end of that year, I was able to hit my revenue goal as well too. And for
Got
me,
it.
I just felt like there's so much in me that I was sharing, but it's hard to just share with friends or even other people are
Hmm.
so busy. Everybody's so busy.
Hmm.
And I felt like someone was actually listening, like someone was actually really listening
Yeah.
and really focused. Mind you, I also know this person for a very long time. And when they
Oh, okay.
decided
Okay.
life coach,
Yeah.
I kind of trusted them. It wasn't
Hmm.
just someone I found online,
Hmm.
right? Like I know they have integrity and I've been following them since they switched career to become a coach. And I said, I might as well try. And so when
And
I
when
did,
did you want to actually become a life coach?
so I think basically after being coached, I just really see like for me, it's like so you get paid to do this to make someone else feel like so much better and be able
Hmm.
to achieve their goals and go after their goals and just kind of live up to continue to push themselves.
Hmm.
And for me, I've always loved to help people. So for my whole entire life, I love volunteering. But the thing is, I don't
Hmm.
get paid to volunteer, but I like the feeling of volunteering.
Got it.
Like,
Got it. Got it.
yeah. And now I'm like, so I can get paid to help others. Okay. And I feel like
Hmm.
at the end of the day, I'm actually making a difference because I actually truly care. Right. And so I had no idea if it's the field for me, but I said the best way is for me just to kind of go get to become certified. And then I know there are people who said you don't
Figure it
need
out later.
yeah,
First, get certified to figure out next steps later.
yeah, exactly. And let me
I
see what
love
they're
it.
teaching me. Yeah. And I'll figure out after if that's even but I
Let me
can
ask
see
you this:
yeah.
Have you had clients yet in life coaching? Have you coached somebody yet?
So yes, I mean in a way, through my
Mhm.
whole journey, I do have some clients that I've started working on. A lot of it I was doing pro bono as well, but I do have one or
How
two
do they
that
know
was
you?
it's through my network. It's just basically I
Okay,
post a post on Facebook
so you're
and
like a mentor. You're like their mentor. You're
yeah.
kind of like their mentor.
Yeah, but not really. Like some of them, they're just colleagues I meet through, not colleagues, sorry, people I met along the way because I network a lot. I meet a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep them on social media. We're friends on Facebook, so I did a post that, hey, I'm a life coach and I'm offering this, and then
Oh, okay, got it, got it,
quite
got
a
it.
few people reach out to me.
And how
Right?
was that experience?
That experience was really good, actually. I really enjoyed it. But here's the thing: what I find is because I was offering it for free at first, a lot of people, I think it was two-way. Like we start a few sessions, but then there is a few, like I offer a few more sessions, for example, for free, but life gets in the way and people are busy and they don't show up for the session. And for me, I'm already spending my time and effort. I'm not about to force you to show up for the session, but
Yeah.
I'm also learning too that's part of being a coach. It's also being accountable, and maybe instead of just letting them go off, I should just
Mm-hmm.
follow up and help them be accountable for that. Because I know life happens, and the last thing you want
Well, I
is,
think that I don't think you can coach somebody who's not ready to be coached.
yeah,
And
yeah,
one of the way you know they're ready to be coached is when they've invested $15,000 to coaching. Then
yeah,
you know that they're you know what I mean. That's somebody who's ready to be coached, right?
yes,
So let's go back and talk about your actual question. So now that we all understand your situation where you are,
yeah,
what's
yeah.
the question?
So yeah, so for me, it's like I guess for me, it's like I can build my coaching business, or I can build this property management as
The
well as,
Airbnb one, yeah.
yeah, it's one or the
The
other.
property
I mean,
management, let's combine into two. I mean,
yeah,
combine into one because
or I can combine it to one.
essentially it's the same business. It's just that one you're doing wholesale, one you're doing uh, one is a wholesale, one is direct to consumer. Meaning one you're providing the full service, and the other one you're just training them, right? So, but it essentially the same process can work, same marketing message, same everything can work for that. Your
Yeah,
life coaching is a completely different story,
yeah,
right?
yeah, for
So
sure.
so you're at that point. You need a life coach to give you clarity on which way to go. I mean,
Yes.
I can't give you that clarity because I'm not a life coach, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
this is what I can do, right? So you know how like if you look at Night Owl Nation, like what we do, right?
Yes.
Like a lot of when I first started making content, like in the first 3 months, like somebody asked me like if they can hire me as a coach, not
Mm,
not a marketing coach, not a business coach, but as a life coach. I'm
yeah.
like, first of all, I'm like, what the fuck is a life coach? Like, I mean, I know what a life coach is, but I had no idea what they do, right? So I
Yeah.
was like, what the hell is a life coach? Like, so what I found out is that there's a lot of the things that I do, even though I consider myself I'm a marketing coach, I'm a business
Yeah.
coach, I'm a storytelling coach. Even though that's my area of expertise, a lot of people think that I'm a life coach.
Mm,
And a lot of my employees at Night Owl also say the best things that they got out of me is not necessarily like how to design, how to write, but like things around like life, right? Like values, philosophies, those kind of things, right? So inevitably, like I think there's if you're doing coaching right, even if it's business coaching, inevitably there's going to be life coaching
mm,
interconnected to it, just like you said, right? How you
mm.
were trying to solve a business problem, right? So I don't think of life coach as a thing, a career or title. I think of life coaching as it's something integrating into everything.
Like a skill that I have that I can integrate into my business,
Exactly,
my
exactly.
team.
And from my experience, those are the most successful coaches. Actually, it's the ones where people kept coming to them and they kept coaching them and they kept giving them advice, but over time it became coaching, right? Versus somebody who's like, I'm gonna be a life coach, and then it's like the life coach, and then okay, does anybody need life coaching? Do you understand what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those people, it's very rarely like succeed at a high level. But if I
Mm,
look at the ones that are the most successful life coaches, it's not like they set out to be a life coach, right? They just kept
mm,
giving advices, building communities and things like that. And people asked them, "Oh, can you coach me?" And then they started coaching them, and eventually, oh yeah, I was life coaching, something
Mhm.
like that, right? So I mean, so one thing that I wouldn't just completely disregard is there's an opportunity where you can build your current business, which is doing the property management, right? But
Mhm.
while you're doing that, you're training these people to do the property management for them, right? They're your employees, but you're training them, right, to do it. But then because of that, you understand the process. You know the do's and do nots and all of those the legal things and all of those little kinks, nuances, right? You understand all of that. So now you
Mhm.
can replicate that and you can teach this to strangers. So
Mhm.
instead of teaching it to we talked about this, teaching it
Yeah.
to your employees and then just collecting a fee from your clients managing their properties. On this end, what you're doing is instead of hiring them, these people who don't have a job or wants a side hustle or wants to make extra cash or wants to start their own business or something can actually get trained under you how to manage their own Airbnb and then do it on their own, right? And then you're just charging them for the training fee, right?
Mhm.
So it's the same business but two different business models.
Yeah,
One done for you, one will show you how to do it.
for sure.
This can essentially become a coaching business. I don't know if you realize that, right? Because like
Mhm.
if you have a community of entrepreneurs all over the country or all over the world who are doing this like your method and you've trained all of them, right? Inevitably, you're not just training them. Oh, this is how much you should charge. This is how you should do it. This is how you check in. Yes, that's part of the training, but there's going to be a lot of the training about, you should always show up like earlier, like look mindset, like
Mhm.
understanding why are you doing this. There's going to be a lot of that too. If you're
Mhm.
doing it right, do you understand what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah, I
And
I totally see that, and I see how that could be a skill set versus someone who's just about like
mhm.
here's the technicality
And
of
that can set you apart from everyone else is doing the short term. Like everyone else that are going around advertising like, hey, you want to make money sitting on the beach and passive income and like, you know what I mean? Like you can,
yeah.
have like all the people that are like Ty Lopez selling that stuff, like you can differentiate yourself. You can separate yourself from that crowd because
Mm.
you're doing it differently. Because you're actually, you know what I mean? And it's these kind of things. It's not like you can just say, "Oh, I'm doing differently because of like." You'll see how exactly is that you're doing it different. I can't tell you right now
Mm.
because you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
But once you do it your way, right? Not caring about how they do it, blah blah blah. But once you're incorporating all those life coaching lessons that you learned into teaching this to these people, and like you actually become almost like their mentor, where you're helping them grow as a person, not just as Airbnb host, but
Yeah.
as a person. Then I think they'll start talking. It's kind of like what's happening with that kind of that feeling of like, oh, something's happening here, something
Yeah.
different is happening here. It
Yeah.
becomes apparent to the rest of the world.
Gotcha. Actually, I have another questions about
Hmm.
that, more of like a technical question.
Okay.
Is that so? I thought, like I told you this too. I love, like, I joined Night Out Nation months ago, and I really love what you're doing because I've taken so many courses that are expensive about how to market, how to create your own course, how to share your knowledge. But what you're doing is very different here, and I kind of thought about taking that approach. And you mentioned that to Ruda earlier too. Is instead of just
The
doing
membership.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, is to create a
That's how
community
I would do it. Yeah. For
and then
you.
let people join, and then
Yeah.
every week I can share them lessons that I can show them,
Hmm.
okay, this is how you do this is how you do that. Because right now I get a lot of calls and people are like, can you show me how to do this on like the
The way
Airbnb?
I would do it with you, actually, is I would create 3 different pathways to get there. So have the community always as a base, right? So somebody can pay monthly and join this community. Your community is actually going to be even more beneficial than our community because it's just like because you're in the community of other Airbnb hosts. So
Mm,
like if I'm like, oh, does anybody else here, is Airbnb host in Austin, Texas, or something like that, and you
mm,
can share information, you can share like, oh, there's a
yeah.
lot of, you know what I mean, those kind of things that can happen there, right? But
Mm-hmm.
also, um, this is a place where you're kind of constantly supporting them, so that they don't fall off the wagon, like so they don't, like the they don't fall off the horse, and you just help them get back up, and like you constantly keeping them consistent, right? But I would have a different product up front for you, either a group program where somebody comes in. I don't know how long it takes to train this, but
Mm-hmm.
a group program where you train like 20, 30 people at once. And
Mm-hmm.
then once they're done with that basic training, boom, put them into this thing, the membership, so they're
I
they're
see.
ongoing. Because I'm sure, like as a Airbnb host, you still have to be held accountable, right, for
Mm-hmm.
certain things. So
Yeah.
like the community can help you do that, right? Or if somebody is like really one-on-one, then you just make it really high ticket, and
Gotcha.
then do a one-on-one training, and then put them into the membership afterwards. But I
Mm.
feel like for you, you're gonna still need that training period
Yes, yes.
where, you know what I mean, where, and you should sell that separately, because that's essentially what they're buying. So here's how I would look at it. A lot of your customers are going to be like, people see your success, right? And they're like, I want to do what you do, right? And then they're going to be like, oh, so I'm willing to pay you what, $3,000, $5,000, however much, right? Because they know that it's gonna, that this is the beauty about selling a product. From me, whenever I do a sales page, whenever I sell a launch, when I do a launch for a client who's selling a meditation product, or something that's like something that's supposed to be like positive, beneficial to you,
Yeah.
it's really, really hard to sell.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so hard to sell. So we first of all, we cannot sell anything over $1,000 for this type of product, unless the person is really like, even within Gabby's audience, like what I noticed is when we sell Spirit Junkie Masterclass, which is the whole class is by make money doing what you love. It's a
Yeah.
when we sell a business product or some sort of product that has a return on investment, where this is going to help you make this much money back, people are willing to spend a two, three, five, $15,000. But for
Yeah.
some reason, when it comes to like, oh, this is going to help you, find yourself, or like anything beneficial, they're not willing to spend that kind of money if
Yeah.
there's no return on investment, right?
Because they
So for
can't see
you,
clearly. They can't connect the
yeah,
dot clearly yet.
exactly. So for your clients, that those are high ticket products. So you have to form some sort of a high ticket product, a group session or something like that, where you teach them. I'm going to show you the ins and outs. Like, this is a step by step training for you to become your own Airbnb host and start making profits immediately. Okay. But then once they're in the training, you're teaching them, you sprinkle your life coaching shit in there. And by the end of the program, you have to make them understand why this other side is just as important as the
Mm,
actual knowledge. Do you understand what I mean? Because
yeah.
then they'll see the benefit of joining the membership.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? So it's your job to make them understand why all of this other life coaching stuff is beneficial. But when you sell it high ticket,
I see.
because that's like, because number one, that's how you test. That's how you test whether they're fully committed or not.
Yeah, they're serious.
I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah, that is. And number two is because these people are willing and ready to do it, spend
Mm,
that kind of money because they know that there's a return. And number three, because I know that you can help them get a return. See,
yeah.
there are products out there that like, if you were selling Marie Forleo's B School, I would not. I would be like, no, do not fucking do that, right? Because at the end of the day, I know 80% of the people who take that course is not going to get a return. Do
Yeah. Yeah.
you understand what I mean? The 20% will,
Yeah.
but 80% won't. But with your product, I know that almost everybody will get a return.
Yeah.
As long as they have a property, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So
Exactly.
that's
Because
why
they'll
I
make
say
money
do
right
that.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly. And
Okay.
then start building your community. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, like I now when it comes to creating products and things like that. I have so many different technical aspects, but I'm sure we don't have the time for it because I've looked into like, all those, like beside me building a site or Kajabi, ClickFunnels and all of that. I guess, could you say something quickly? Does it matter what we use as
No.
long as we create the
What I
content?
want you to do is I want you to do everything via Zoom in the beginning.
Okay.
Just do everything live session in the beginning. I don't think you're at a place where you should be recording anything right now.
Okay.
You see how I'm not recording anything either. I mean, I record all my sessions,
Yeah.
but I don't record courses, right? And the reason why is because I'm still trying to figure out the best way to teach it.
Ah, I see. So offer it live, like a series.
Yeah, because if you do that for the next 12 months, if you just offer it live, whether it's a group session or one-on-one or whatever, just price it accordingly. If you offer it live for the first 12 months, you're going to learn so much that when you create it then, that course is going to be 100 times better than if you create it now.
Gotcha.
Because the things that you think, it's not going to work out the same because you're going to be teaching this thing and then you're going to realize, oh, they didn't actually understand any of that. Or things like that is going to happen. It's just it's really different when you teach one-on-one versus when you start teaching in masses.
Gotcha. Well, I do a monthly free workshop now, and some people are like, wow, you give so much information away for free. I was like, yeah.
Well, yeah, now you can start charging for it. But yeah, I think you're on the right path. Like now, I mean, I don't even have to worry about this with you because I know you're a executor. So now, like, you just have to just do it.
Okay, sounds great. I'll be rewatching this podcast so I can take notes.
Yeah, and don't overthink it right now. Just go ahead and jump in and start doing it on Zoom.
Gotcha.
Like, start collecting people, like email addresses. Oh, you want to do Airbnb? You want to do Airbnb? Anybody want to do Airbnb? Anybody want to do Airbnb? Okay, get in here, and then start going on Zoom with them. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do it like. This is what I love about Elon Musk, right? Like right now, people are like going crazy because like Elon is breaking Twitter and like there's gonna be bugs everywhere because he's making quick change. He's making very, very quick changes, right?
Yeah.
So they're saying, oh, there's like it's buggy right now because of all of that. But that's how you're supposed to run business. There's supposed to be bugs. There's supposed to be, shit happening. You're supposed to do something dumb and then fix it. You know what I mean? Like when he first started the Boring Company, right? When he was building, like now he's like actually in the middle of building that tunnel in Vegas. But how he started the company? He went and rented a crane and just started digging the ground. Like, just jump, guys. Like, this is gonna be the greatest entrepreneur advice you've ever gotten. Just fucking jump in and do it. You want to do this thing? Just send out that Zoom link and just get everybody in there and just jump in and do it. That's the best way to do it. You'll figure all of the kinks out over time.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great. Thanks, Sun. Do we still have time or is time up? I want to make sure I'm respectful of your time.
If you have a question, you can ask one. Because I don't see any questions in the comments. So
someone says, Rob says Elon himself is saying.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. You almost have to run a business like that. Like you can't like look at your business like a precious baby. No, like you got to throw it around. Your business, you got to throw it around a little bit. You got to let it get like it's kind of like raising a child, right? You can't protect your child too much, right? You gotta kind of let things happen, and business
you
is
gotta build it messy. I mean, I built other businesses before, and I know that's just the way it works.
That's why I said I have no doubt. I have nothing but excitement for you because I know it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yes, thank you, Sun. I am excited. The other thing that I do have questions to you, and I mean that's the reason why I joined Night Out Nation is that at the end of the day, I feel like besides the network that I have, like I used to go out network a lot. So I built a lot of them. And so a lot of the people I have on Instagram or Facebook are all people that actually know me. But I realized like I'm learning from you now is I need a bigger audience if I want it worldwide, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, if I'm having these
Yeah.
programs that can truly benefit and make a difference, but if
Mhm.
nobody knows about me, then it
Mhm.
really doesn't matter.
The way you should sell it though is 4 out of 5 content you make should be about Airbnb specific.
Okay.
Okay. And then 1 out of 5 content you make should be more about life coaching, mindset, things like that.
Gotcha.
Once they're in your community, in your stories, in your emails, in your Zoom calls, that's when you go heavy into the mindset and life coaching stuff. Do you understand what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Because the life coaching content is not going to get you as much
Yeah.
eyeballs, the attention up front as the air. But if you give a quick tip about, hey, by the way, if you're hosting Airbnb, because this is what I'm looking for you. A big chunk of the first group of people that you should get are people that are already doing this on their own, but they're
Mm.
struggling because they don't know how to do it right. They're either just breaking even or losing money or like. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So those should be the first people that you target by making content like this. Hey, are you an Airbnb host, but you're barely breaking even or losing money sometimes? Here are the main reasons why. Do you
Gotcha.
understand what I mean? This is how you attract that first group of people, and you just build your first goal. Just build a community of 25 people. That's it. And then
Mm.
from that point on, you just pour your heart into that group, and then it'll just organically grow.
Gotcha. Well, that's
But yeah,
great. I think I
make
have.
that kind of content because you need to reach those people.
Yeah.
What's
And
gonna
it's
happen is
okay. Sorry to add that, and it's okay if I start doing that because I think for example, my Instagram and or do I have to create a new page? Can I just do that
no, no,
on
no, 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 no.
the page I have?
This is everything under your personal, like you,
Okay.
like the Airbnb lady.
Yeah.
That's you
Gotcha.
from now on, okay? Like, no, I'm not joking about this. Like, people have to see you as the Airbnb lady.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like people refer to Mel Robbins as the 5-second lady, because
Yeah.
what's gonna happen is once you attract all those Airbnb people that are hosting Airbnb because they have extra properties, or like Gigi is one of them, right? Gigi ran an Airbnb for a while. Like, once you get all those people, most of these people have no crossover whatsoever to a life coaching world. They don't even know what a life coach is. Most of these people in this world, okay? So once you start bringing them into the life coaching world, like, this is what you're gonna do, because it's really hard to flip people who don't want to do life coaching at all to life coaching.
Yeah.
This is the way you're gonna flip them. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? Just kind of like
Okay.
how Mel Robbins flipped you. Yeah.
For
Like,
sure.
you know what I mean? Like, once they're like, oh shit, like she if you're one of the most successful people in the Airbnb business and people look at you and they're like, wow, like, my really focuses a lot on this mindset stuff and life coaching and stuff like that, that must be important to this business. They start
Mm.
thinking like that, right? Which is true.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it's funny how you said it. I didn't set out to say I want to be an Airbnb expert, but it came to me.
No, that's what you are, and how you do it
Yeah.
is the life coaching stuff. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
that's your path. I can see so clearly.
Ah, yay. Well, I'm always going to be part of Night Out Nation, so I'll have you to continue to mentor,
Yeah,
which is great.
keep us updated. Yeah,
Yeah, for
cool.
sure.
Thanks,
I need more
my.
because
What's
I
that?
got my hat and then I think I was washing my hat.
Already? Cool. Yeah, Mai is also one of the small group leaders, so she's very involved in the community. Okay, thanks, Mai. See you
No
on
problem.
Sunday.
Yes, thank you. See you guys on
Cheers.
Sunday. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you.
Okay, sorry to cut you off there. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, so this is gonna be saved on YouTube. We're gonna have the audio version on the podcast this weekend. we have Sunday service, so all the members, see you guys there. Until next week, bye everyone. See you guys. Thank you for staying. Cheers.